Moving to security situation around town today, we've seen heavy deployment of security operatives from every junction that you get to. You see presence of security operatives from every security agencies you can think of. You will find them in Ondo State. The police have said they will deploy over 20,000 police officers, and they say you will find about 5 security operatives at each polling unit. Well, let's give you a sense of what this election will look like and how intense the battle may be. Well, let me introduce you to my guest. Abiodun Ajijola is the National Coordinator of Election Monitor. Many thanks for coming on the program.
Thank you for having me.
And Esther Ozoma, a lawyer and a member of the Situation Room and Election Observer. Many thanks for coming on the program.
My pleasure, thank you.
First and foremost, let's start with the security situation.
Yes.
How do you see the situation in Owo? It's just 2 days before the election, we are seeing death already, and one would be wondering, what kind of situation could that be?
Well, clearly, it does appear that the gladiators have fired the opening shot. They are giving us a sense that, you know, it will not be free, it will not be peaceful, because this is just a precursor, and then one chieftain is already dead. We also heard reports that, you know, a few houses were burnt down. But the angle, you know, the emphasis I would like to lay is that the office of the citizen is critical to this election. If the people of Owo decide that there will not be any violence, if the people of Owo decide that no son of Ondo State will spill his or her blood, then nobody will die. Because the gladiators do not want to die. You won't see them coming out. But they will incite we, the people. They will incite we who are hungry. They will incite we, you know, who are not enjoying social life. We are the ones they will incite. They will dangle a carrot and then tell us, go and spill blood. If we decide, if the people of Ondo State decides, besides the seeming tension in the town, then not one single blood will be spilled.
Let me allow you coming in this regard. The history of election and politics in Ondo State is very interesting, and if one looks at it now, this does not look like a good one, is it?
No, it doesn't look good. And if you look at politics or elections in Ondo State in the Fourth Republic, that is from 1999 to date, it hasn't been associated with a very high level of violence. For example, last year in the general elections, Ondo State had one of the lowest incidences of violence across the whole country. In fact, it was only one reported case of violence that we had, pre-election violence, as opposed to some places like Rivers that had 19 cases. So I mean, Ondo State recently has not had that history of violence generally. But I think part of the problem we have in this very election is the fact that it's very tense, and you have several candidates who are very, that have resources, they have the spread, they have the grassroots network, and that have the finance. So because of that, it's eagerly and highly contested. If you look at like the Edo election, it was basically a contest between 2 people. Bayelsa was basically a contest between 2 people. The same thing you had in Kogi, 2 people. But here you have about 3 or 4 candidates that are very strong, and then you're likely to have tension.
Let's move into some issues because of our time, so that we can address a lot of issues just within the frame of time that we have. Esther, if you look at this contest and the preparations of INEC, security operatives, and some of the controversies that have generated. For example, there are controversies which INEC has laid to rest that Professor Shore Mekun, the man who returned the election in Edo State, might be the person returning. INEC has said that is not going to happen. With all of this that we're seeing and the call for postponement, what do you make of it?
Well, you know, propaganda is a veritable tool for politics. You know, politicians always provoke propaganda, and then it goes viral, social media, everybody hears it, and then suddenly it appears as if it's an issue. INEC did well by nipping it in the bud, saying that the professor is not the chief returning officer, you see. So nobody, as at now, we just conjectures, but I say, listen, you guessed wrong. However, having said that, we should be careful. You know, it is not out of place for politicians to contrive situations, to provoke situations that might attract security attention. When such situations are contrived, when such situations are provoked, again, I appeal to the office of the citizen, because it has to be executed by foot soldiers. The gladiators do not march the streets. The gladiators, they wear bulletproof. They live in bulletproof houses. In fact, they drink bulletproof water. They need people on the street executing, their contrived, whatever they want to impose. So the citizen is very crucial. That's why we want to use this, for once a situation, we are warning, appealing to the citizens of Ondo State. Do not let it happen. Nobody will come to your son's funeral.
Do you see the security operatives and INEC ready for this exercise?
Well, yes, they have mobilized. INEC is ready. Deployment, sensitive materials, everything has gone out. You see, so it's just to ensure that no contrived situation truncates the process.
Biodun, quickly, let's do a simple analysis of how the battlegrounds in this election. We know there is a strong candidate in the south from the riverine area, and it's a massive one. There is another strong one, maybe two very strong candidates from the north, another strong one in the central. So the evenly distributed presence of these, where do you see exactly? Where do you see the battleground in terms of voting and the presence of the politicians trying to wade in their weight, putting their weight down in this election?
Thank you for that. Just quickly before that, I would say that in the area of the returning officer, quickly, what I am disappointed in, the politicians that are trying to make propaganda, is that you have 203 ward collation officers, 18 local government collation officers, and results are only announced by the returning officer, and he has no power over results that are concluded at the ward level or at the local government level. So all he does is sit in front of a live television broadcast. Everybody sees when he receives the LGA results, and then he reads it out. So whoever is the returning officer doesn't make any difference.
So it doesn't matter.
It has no impact.
There shouldn't be any fear.
And there should be no fear.
Even if the same person using Ondo is using Ondo,
it makes no difference. It has no difference.
Let's go ahead.
So I want to just clear that. I think that's propaganda.
Thank you.
Okay, so but in terms of battleground, Ondo has 3 senatorial districts, North, South, and Central. The Central has the largest number of voter registration because of 2 critical local governments. That's Akure South, State Capital, and Ondo West. Now, this forms the Central Senatorial District, has about 37 or 38% of the total voting population of the state. Now, you also have the South Senatorial District, which has the second highest number of voting population, followed by the North, which has the least. Now, the candidate that you mentioned, who is from the South, won the South Senatorial District in 2012. He defeated an incumbent governor there, and he's the only major candidate from that region. So you are very clear that he has a huge chance there, naturally. Then you now have the Central Senatorial District, where you have another major candidate from, and he is from one of the big local governments. But one of his greatest supporters is from the second largest local government. So you expect that he has huge opportunities in the center. Meanwhile, you have it a bit divided in the north.
Which of these local government areas, or where exactly should we be looking at that may swing this election? We're looking about 4 local government that I can see from history and from the numbers. Which are these local government areas?
Well, for me, I think personally that I would want to watch Ondo West, because Ondo West is highly populated. Akure South is also highly populated. Okitipupa is also highly populated, and it's in the South Senatorial District.
So anybody that must win in this election should be able to win these local government areas.
Actually, there will be a balkanization of votes.
Really?
Oh, definitely. There will be, because there's a balance of terror. The votes from each region will be balkanized. So you can't really say where the swinger will come from.
All right. As we close, just a statement each. This is going to look like perhaps the most intense election in this state. Do you think so?
Yes, I agree completely. It's going to be intense.
Not only
your take on this election?
I think it's going to be the most competitive governorship election we've had in about 5-6 years.
In Nigeria?
In Nigeria.
Many thanks, Esther Ozoma, for talking to us, and Abiodun Ajijala, many thanks for coming on the program. Well, that's about it. It looks so much that we should continue. The analysis is just intense. Well, we'll bring you more of that on Sunday, and as we cover this election, stay with Channels Television, 8 a.m. tomorrow, and we resume the continued coverage of the Ondo State Governorship Election 2016. From all of us here in Akure, the Ondo State capital, it's bye for now.